When I recorded my video of this Flip Minnow HD that you're looking at right now, I mentioned that I had a Flip Ultra on order, which was the one I wanted to make the video of originally, but it just didn't show up. Well, it finally showed up. So now I guess I can make a comparison video of the two, sort of. If you want to go ahead and look at video footage and video sample from this Flip Minnow HD, I will go ahead and link to the video. I'm not going to shoot any video of it with it in this video, just because it's HD, it's widescreen, I don't want to mess up the video resolution. Likewise, if you want to see a more in-depth video about the Flip Ultra, V Westlife has already done a pretty decent overview and discussion of these things, so I'm not going to go too in-depth with it, but I am going to describe it and compare it to the Flip Minnow, one of the later models. You can see just the size comparison between the two. The Flip Ultra is quite a bit bigger. You see on the back here, it talks about all of its functionality. The shoot and share camcorder. Upload videos to AOL Video and MySpace and YouTube. Only one of those things still exists. It's a shell of its former self, if you want my honest opinion of it. Certainly not like it was back in 2007 when this was released. You're not going to be able to read that with this, but this is the white and silver model with 1 GB of memory, which records up to 30 minutes. They had some that had 2 GB of memory, which would allow you to record an hour of footage. Talks about what it includes, which is pretty much your standard stuff. It came with batteries, not that they'd be any good these days. Then the system requirements for the FlipShare software that was on board on the memory that you would use to upload videos to YouTube, and it also did some basic editing. Copyright 2007, Pure Digital Technologies. So this obviously was before these things were sold to Cisco. And the packaging is quite a bit different between the two as well. I mean, there's the Flip Minnow, which is a very Apple-esque package. I thought the camera was in it, but it's not compared to this. What will you see today? Shoot anything. Share everything. And there, of course, is the camera itself. I believe I do have everything this would have come with new. So you get a little carrying pouch, which almost looks like it wouldn't even fit the camera, but it does. And there's your little wrist strap. And then I think underneath that is the AV cable, which this thing does have. Go ahead and actually take a look at it. You can see there's your TV input there. I'm using a digital camera to shoot this part of the video. This is the HP PhotoSmart 735. I think I'm going to go ahead and actually switch over to a different camera. I have my iPhone 3GS somewhere around here. If I can find it, we'll switch to it, because I think that one can do better close-up video. Okay, now this should be a little bit better. You can actually see what I'm trying to show you. You might even be able to read this a little bit better. So, I mean, if you can go ahead and pause the video, if you would like to. But here is the camera itself, the Flip Ultra. You can see compared to the Flip Minnow HD. It's a size difference between the two. It looks like the Flip Minnow HD has a bigger lens, or a bigger sensor, but it doesn't. The actual image sensor is the same size. It's just that the lens around it is slightly bigger. But overall, they're pretty much the same camera. You get the same basic controls between the two. Even the screen is the same size. Although the Flip Ultra, of course, only shoots standard definition 4:3 video. This shoots 16:9 video. You do get a few more options. There is a setup menu on the Ultra, but it's the same basic idea. Obviously, I have video clips on this one. So, you don't actually get a battery life remaining indication on this, but you do on the Minnow, and I believe the reason why is because the Minnow has a built-in battery. It does not take... It's not a removable battery, whereas the Flip Ultra here, you can see there's a little thing down here, you can actually remove the batteries, and it takes standard AA's, pretty similar to other cameras of the time, like the Kodak ZI6, which I also have an example of. And the Kodak certainly had a market, and there were other manufacturers as well that made smaller cameras, but none did as well as these flips, because believe it or not, these flips, being as simple as they were, that's what made them popular, because there was nothing that you could do to really... There were no real options, so it was easy to use, and certainly easy for kids to use. You know, you'd flick a switch, press a button, and you're recording. You know, there's no manual settings to go through, there's no options, there's really not much of anything. And of course, to transfer your videos, you just do this. This is what gave them their name, the Flip. Flip out USB arm, and it had built-in software for editing and uploading. So they were pretty nice. The other thing you could do is you could actually set them straight up. And even the newer model, you can do that as well. You could just set them straight, you don't need a tripod or anything. It's very nice. So what we're going to do now, because I think I've discussed all I need to discuss about the Flip Ultra, we're going to go ahead and switch over to it and take a look at the video that it records. Of course, you got to remember, the quality is not very good on these, but for 2007, it wasn't too bad. You know, 2007, most people were using digital cameras, like point-and-shoot digital cameras that did not have very good audio fidelity. And this is actually really good audio fidelity. It's not great, again, in comparison to other things. It's probably similar to this iPhone I'm shooting this video with right now. Maybe a little bit worse than the iPhone video, but, you know, it doesn't hold a candle to an actual physical camcorder, but it's not really meant to replace it. Well, it is, but it's also not. You know, it's not. If you have a use case for a full-size camera with all the features, you're not going to buy one of these things anyway. But this is meant for people who just want something to record video clips of their kids on vacation or something similar. Or for making YouTube videos back in the day. Okay, so let's go ahead and switch over to this camera and see what it records. Okay, shooting test video now with the Flip Ultra from Pure Digital Technologies. There's no customization options, so what you see is what you get. It's one of the selling points of these cameras. Back when they were new in 2008. It's just like the old days of YouTube. I miss the old days with the dodgy camera work. It's a photonic induction quote, but it certainly holds true. You know, everything's commercialized with 4K cameras these days, and I think they're even bigger than that now. I think they're 8K. I don't really understand why, because it's not like anybody's got the pixels to see that, unless they've got a theater screen. And even still, even if you do have a monitor that's higher resolution, you're not going to get anything out of it unless it is a theater screen, because it's just going to look like a postage stamp. You're not going to be able to discern anything in the actual video. So, I think you could probably kind of see it. These things were well known for their jello vision. The rolling shutter effect, which this has in spades. I can see it in the actual screen. It is not waterproof, not that it matters. Not so sure it's ice proof. Shock proof. I'm not going to try it because I don't want to break it. I just got the darn thing. Just trying to think of anything potentially useful to say. Really not much to say, honestly. It's a camera. It works. standard definition. I do have the Minnow HD, which is 720p, so it's marginally better than this, but, you know, I think the video quality is probably pretty well the same. And the audio quality, I don't think there's much difference between the two. Look at this pile of garbage. We had 2 of these. I don't know which one that is. We had 2 of them because one of them had a giant hole in it, and somebody went and stole one, along with a bunch of other crap out of there. Which is why there's a lock on it now. Not that it's going to do much good, but it'll keep the lamers out. People who just break in and steal things have a good time. Not to actually make profit off of their stolen items. Anyway. Let's go take it inside and get some indoor footage. Okay, here we are with indoor video. With the Flip Ultra. I've noticed while recording that this thing has an insane amount of jello vision to it. Not that I'm overly surprised. I think that was one of the big issues with these. Certainly the original Flip very much had that problem. Seems to do okay in low light, though. I mean, there's a lot of video noise, but at least you can see what's going on. Or you can get something of an idea for what's going on, at the very least. Fixed focus. There's no refocusing, obviously. I don't think that's correct. I'm not going to be able to show you much with this because I don't have anything really to show, but you can go ahead and put the camera down and just set it down like this, and then you can put things in front of it, use it to show things off, or what have you. Obviously, the focus is not going to be very good, just because it's a fixed focus lens, but that was one of the things that made these nice. You didn't need a tripod in order to get really steady video. You could just use like a stack of tapes or whatever. Alright, that is pretty much it for the Flip Ultra from Pure Digital Technologies, later of course Cisco Systems. A relic of the past that will always have its place in history as one of the most popular camcorders near the turn of the 2010s. And what popularized the YouTube age, pretty much. Most people got their start on one of these. So, thank you for watching. If you've got any comments, feel free to leave them down below.